topic is, how can Florida State expose LSU? What is one, maybe two facets of the game that the Seminoles have been talking about for months, they've been watching on film, and is already definitely scripted on their game plan about how they're going to attack and they hope beat LSU? It's through the secondary. You guys know, I mean, the position group with the biggest question marks this offseason was the secondary. Who's starting at safety? Who's starting at corner? It's really been more so about corner, especially with the off-the-field situations like Denver Harris and guys leaving the team, guys transferring in. Right now, it looks like LSU's relying on two transfers to start at cornerback, Zy Alexander from Southeastern Louisiana, and then Deuce Chestnut from Syracuse. And, you know, LSU's gone into the portal before and grabbed some really good talents, but one's coming from the FCS and the other's coming from the ACC. No disrespect to either of those venues of football, but the SEC is just different, and usually you like to have a guy in the defense that knows the system, has played at the speed of the conference, and kind of just understands things a little bit finer. And not to say that Alexander and Chestnut don't, we just don't know yet. We can only go to practice for a little bit amount of time. We haven't seen them play in an LSU uniform in a game yet against another opponent, so game one should tell us a lot, but those are things we just don't know. What we do know is that Florida State can pass the football. 28th in the country last year in passing yards per game, well over 200. And in the LSU game specifically last year, Jordan Travis had one of his best games of the season. He's FSU starting quarterback, by the way. 20 of 33 passing, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns. Both deep balls, both beautiful throws to Pokey Wilson, who played receiver for the Seminoles last year. Not there anymore, but doesn't matter. 40-plus yard passes, one-on-one coverage to the end zone that Wilson caught. That is how Florida State attacked LSU defensively last year, and it's basically the same team this year. And they had success last year. They won the game, and they put up 24 points. Not a lot, but respectable, especially against an LSU defense of the caliber it was last year and the caliber it should be this year. So I think they're going to try to move the football down the field and expose those one-on-one matchups again this year. That's something that Florida State likes to do offensively. You think football is so complicated? There's all these formations and route concepts and all these different base defenses. You don't even know half of these things. I've been watching football for years. I don't know half of these things. But Florida State really makes it simple. If a wide receiver is one-on-one with a cornerback on the far side of the field, near side of the field, and they got space to operate, Jordan Travis will take the football, pass it that way, and let his wide receiver make a play. So Florida State will force these cornerbacks, these defensive backs of LSU, to make one-on-one tackles in space. And again, Deuce Chestnut played at Syracuse, played against this same Florida State team last year. And one play sticks in the back of my head. I got to talk about it on the radio during the game. Pass goes out to Johnny Wilson, 6'7" receiver for Florida State. Breaks a Chestnut tackle, 20 yards later is in the end zone. Simple. One missed tackle, 6 points. Add the PAT, 7 points. That's how simple it can be. So Florida State's going to force LSU to be really solid, not only one-on-one in coverage, but making tackles in the open field. And not to mention, just endless amount of topics with this Seminoles offense. Their offensive line, we talked about this last episode, is really good. Top 3 in the country, according to Phil Steele. All 5 starters back. Very experienced starters, too. I'm talking about over 200 career starts between the 5 guys in the starting lineup and then some of the depth guys they got as well. So they've played pretty much as much football as you can as a college player. So I say that because it means Jordan Travis is going to have time to sit in the pocket and make throws. There's a reason why this offensive line is top 3, because they can pass protect, they can run block, and just give the skill players opportunities to make plays. What FSU also likes to do is use the run game to set up the pass. When I think about this Florida State offense, it's as balanced as a level. Over 200 yards running per game, projected this year. That's what they did last year, too. And then almost 300 passing. So you can't really turn them one-dimensional. They like to run the ball and pass the ball, set up the run with the pass, set up the pass with the run. So that's a difficult offense to game plan for. They're supposed to score 39 points per game this year, according to Phil Steele, who's one of the biggest college football insiders, by the way. And then the last thing I want to say is that Jordan Travis has a very unique ability, kind of like Jaden Daniels, to scramble and extend plays. He's not a guy that's going to sit in the pocket and make the throws on you, but he is a guy that will roll out, give his offensive guys an extra 5-6 seconds to come open on their routes and hit them. So Harold Perkins, LSU's middle linebacker, he's got to have the game of his life. Not only does he need to spy the quarterback, he's got to watch tight ends for tight end screens. He's got to cover guys down the field, have depth awareness, and sit back and stop those crossing routes. He's really just got to keep his eyes locked in with Jordan Travis. Where he goes, you go. You're on him. That's what Harold Perkins needs to do, because Travis can really cause some damage if he gets out of the pocket, escapes pressure, and is given time to either run or pass. So let's circle back and tie a bow on this. Biggest question mark for LSU is the secondary. FSU attacked said secondary last year. You might argue that the secondary is a little bit worse this year for LSU, and Florida State brings back pretty much everybody from last year's team. So if LSU is going to get exposed in this game by FSU, if I'm a Florida State coach, I'm attacking that secondary. That's the one weak point of this defense where I think you are confident you can move the football with the receivers you have and the corners that LSU doesn't really have from a proven standpoint. So guys like Sage Ryan, who's supposed to see time at nickel and corner now apparently, the redshirt sophomore, former 5-star, he's going to have to step up. Ashton Stamps, the true freshman who we've talked about, he's going to have to step up. And then, of course, Alexander, Chestnut, they've got to play big games. And then maybe Denver Harris factors in there a little bit as well, the Texas A&M transfer. So that's one thing that I'm very nervous about for LSU in this game, is that downfield passing of FSU and really just the secondary as a whole on the LSU side of things. That's one place, I think, where when you see the final score and we look back on this game when it's all said and done on Sunday, that might be one of the biggest reasons why Florida State wins if they win the game.